over 50 YouTuber. Yeah, let's do this. Are we interested or are we committed? Okay, we're gonna do a walk and talk, experimenting. I had to give the dogs some of her little salmon treats before we get out of here. I'm gonna talk about, y'all don't need to know any of that. See, they're gonna want me to edit that out. I'm gonna talk about this whole intentional growing my YouTube. I've had a YouTube channel since 2010, January 2010. And I've used it as just like a dumping ground. There's some live streams of some podcasts, and over the last year in my business, I've been clearing out tons of content. And I have been a small business owner for over 20 years. I've been in leadership for 35 years, and I've been creating content online since, I don't know, blogging days, but even before Facebook and YouTube. And honestly, when I left my corporate position, Facebook saved my ass because I had a local non-compete, and so it really helped me connect with an audience all over the world. And here I am, boom, bam, in this midlife transition of, you guys know, of all the things. At one point last year, I was 2 years into this 3-year dumpster fire of life. And there were like 13 events in my family, parents downsizing, moving. I had a heart attack at 50 2 years ago. Had to have a hysterectomy last year, and all my capacity in my life had to be sucked away from my business and into taking care of myself and healing. I shut down a $250,000 membership program because I just needed a break. I probably financially should have just taken a sabbatical, but I shut that down and I let myself get really small. And it's been honestly really good for me, but really scary professionally. And all that leads me to part of my why YouTube and why now. Why YouTube now? I've been creating content for all these years, and honestly, I could say that it's a creative outlet. I have thousands of creative outlets. I just prolifically create, and content is one of the things that I do. I don't think of myself as a quote content creator, but that is one of the things that, to be committed to YouTube, I'm gonna have to shift my identity around, is the idea of being a content creator, right? A YouTuber. My husband said something the other day about YouTubers, and I was like, hey, I'm a YouTuber. I'm gonna come over here this is what I call the Deer Hotel. I don't know if I can turn it around. I can show you this way. This is what I call the Deer Hotel. It's just it's a lot that hasn't been developed, and it's got some soft ground in it, and the deer come and hang out here. So I'm gonna cop a squat in the deer field under this juniper tree, cedar trees we call them here in Texas, and we'll just have a little chit chat. Oh, we'll see how that goes. Yeah. You'll notice that I probably take a lot of breaths in my content, and I know all the YouTube experts tell you to edit that stuff out, and I'll tell you one thing that I am realizing after overthinking this whole YouTube thing is that I've just got to be me. And if I'm gonna come to this YouTube and really being intentional and committed to my channel, then I have to be even more committed to being me. And sometimes I realize that being committed to being me can be a rebellious way of saying, oh, I don't want to learn new things. I am willing to learn new things, but one of the things I think I struggle with over all the years, but especially in the last 7 years, used to creating content was just fun. And then people got on to the, let me help you create content, and people becoming teachers of how to grow your YouTube channel. And if you're an over 40 creator, I know that your algorithm is filled with how to get more subscribers, how to get more followers. And that stuff can be both helpful, and it can really wear on your nervous system and your overthinking, and we can spend all day watching these videos. And I will say, one of the first things everybody says is just make the videos and post them, just make the videos and post them. But right, there's a whole bunch of people out there making money on how to grow, right? And I first noticed it on Instagram and TikTok, and how to get more followers. And I don't want to be in the chasing, it's interesting, right? I don't want to be in the chasing followers game. And I definitely would love to monetize this channel. That is one of my main reasons and whys. And it took me a long time to be willing to say for myself, because honestly, y'all, I have been recovering overachiever and people pleaser and very altruistic, and have frankly exploited myself and my generosity even more. Like, I over-functioned in my life and in my business. It's part of the breakdown and rebuilding in a more aligned way, a more healthy way, is allowing some things to be, yes, for my audience, but also for me. And I'm pretty sure I accidentally built a beautiful business on a lot of my coping skills and insecurities, and this need to prove something to myself. And recently, in the last couple of years, doing a lot of therapy and a lot of just internal work, I realized like my needs matter. And after having a heart attack, and after having, there's so many other things too, y'all, that and my people know that I talk about everything online. There's so many things I didn't talk about because they weren't mine to talk about. Yeah, I want to have something else. So let's play with these things. I've grown a subscriber a day, although it didn't happen that way, but I think my analytics say that I've gotten 28 subscribers, but I feel like I've gotten way more than that in the last month. I didn't necessarily track correctly, and that's okay. And now I'm officially overthinking all this. I've got to be open to new possibilities in life and work. And one of the things I learned being in the real estate industry years ago, that's where I started out my coaching career and my small business career. And so got a good foundation of sales and market shifts. And so, as you already know, that daggum social media content creation, this whole online world changes so fast. And I wanted to have something new. I thought a lot about different channels and how I feel on different channels. And one of my values in life and business is sustainability. What's something with a slow and steady pace that can be sustainable and long-term, not flash in the pan. Anyway, here I am. I guess I'm gonna create a playlist for this specific bucket of creation, of chronicling my YouTube growth. Which isn't totally, maybe it isn't totally different from my regular professional content. But one of the things that I used to be famous for was this way of being online that created clients. People would always say, Allison, how did you leave corporate and have that non-compete clause? And I was like, I don't know, I just shared my heart and showed my work. And we ended up creating a marketing course out of that. That has long passed. But boy, that sucker did really well in 2015, 16, 17. We are learning that walk and talks are a little hard for me with my lung capacity. It'd be something nice to build up. Bugs and birds. It's the first day of fall. I guess not really. It's October 1st. None of that matters. You can edit all this out, Allison. What's possible if I allow myself and my identity to include being an over 50 creator on YouTube? What's possible if I allow my identity and my actions and my joy and my creativity to feel playful and fun around creating work and content that I care about here on YouTube, which is centered around this human experience? What's possible? What's possible if I became committed instead of just interested? What's possible if I started walking again, which I used to be really good at and really consistent with, and I just haven't? I don't know. What's possible?